Good. All right. Opening remarks and then the questions.
Feel good about the win. I mean, from the standpoint of the scoreboard, 51-24, we had to set a single game yardage mark at Grand Valley, and Marty Davis sets a single game rushing mark. So put up 741 yards of offense. Can't complain about that output. At the same time, wasn't really a clean game. We had done a great job at this point without a lot of penalties. We had 10 penalties on the day, a couple personal fouls, which is not acceptable. Put the ball on the ground one time with a turnover, and obviously there were some things with our kickoff team that were not quite clicking. So we defensively, second half, gave up a 97-yard drive and gave up another scoring drive. So this is one of those situations. We'll come back in, and I think all the players, they're not delusional about the thing, and we can continue to improve. I'm not sure that we were as crisp as our expectations were out here, but still a good job going out there and getting a victory and getting ourselves to 3-0.
Yeah, was it your intent to play the starters into the second half because they haven't played, and what did you think of the way they performed?
No, the score was 30-3 at halftime. We did have a 27-point lead at halftime, but I knew based on their style of offense, with Shea Brown, and it was an offense that could strike pretty quickly, that we had to continue to stay aggressive. So there was never really any talk at all, with our coaches or players about pulling any guys down. I wish we could have potentially gotten to that point. I think there was an opportunity to get it to 44-3. And at that point might have been some discussion about it, but to be honest with you, Pete, that lead wasn't the type of lead where I felt comfortable with 30 minutes of football to play.
Does it concern you at all? I mean, you post big numbers and you went big, but nonetheless, they came back and they put up three scores second half. Does that concern you about the defense, that perhaps the endurance level's not there?
I don't know if it has so much to do with the endurance level. I think that it's a combination of factors. Of the 3 drives they had in the second half, 2 of the 3 came against our starters. That last touchdown they had, we had put in the reserves at that point in time. That's not acceptable that the reserves gave them a touchdown. I'm not saying that, but it wasn't like there were 200 starters. On one of those drives there were some penalties that aided it, which we have to get cleaned up. The one that concerns me obviously is they start the ball on the 3-yard line, they go 97 yards in our defense. Yeah, that is concerning. So the glass half full, as I told the team in the locker room, it's okay for us to experience some adversity. We had some adversity in the second half. There was some anxiety on the sideline. There wasn't, we weren't playing up maybe up to our potential, on the defensive side of the ball. We turned the ball over and they scored. We didn't come up with sudden change. We gave up an onside kick. Those to come out with a 51-24 win and have those type of experiences happen to you, again, glass half full. I think that can help us move forward. Is it acceptable? No, but I think it can help us move us forward that our team was able to experience that.
Coach, how do you think the offensive line's grown through the first 3 weeks, and how do you think, or do you have like a starting 5 in mind now, or are you still working on that?
Oh no, I think that the starting 5 has been the same starting 5 game 2 and 3. We've had that same lineup here after 2 games. I think, obviously the thing that I'm probably most pleased about was we were able to throw the ball without much pressure on our quarterback. The 4-man rush didn't really get close to him. Our play action passing game, when Bart sets up after play action, he's pretty clean back there to go ahead and make some throws, So, obviously when you have a tailback go for 298, Martavius is good when he gets in the second level. There were some of those runs where, he'd have to shut his feet down and be able to block some people up. So, yeah, we are making progress. I'm not saying we're there yet. We're making progress. I do think tonight you saw the advantage of our tight end position too. Our tight end position did a great job aiding us because a lot of the runs that we were running were tight-sided runs that were coming off the edge, and that's where the Pete Senders and the Nick Kaisers and the Brian Rands come into play. And we can't downplay the importance of tight ends in our run game.
Matt, can you talk a little bit about Martavius?
Yeah, this is something I think everybody in this building knows, that Marty has the ability that when he gets to the second level, this combination of speed and power, he's very difficult to get down. So the reason you get 298 on 20 carries, you have a lot of explosive runs, big chunk runs. And so if we get him clean, to 8, 9, 10 yards, you get him clean at that point, it becomes very, very difficult to tackle him because of his top end speed. He's low to the ground, so he can put his foot in the ground, and he also runs with some physicalness too. He's not a guy that's going to go down with contact on the first guy that's contacting him. So that's obviously our goal is to try to be explosive, and he gives us the best opportunity to do that at the tailback position.
Marty, you want to talk about your game?
I had a great game. Well, not a great game, but I had a good game. me and the offensive line, we had great communication throughout the whole game. That's what really helped us because this first half, we were just out, we were just running. Everything was going the way it was. Second half, we had a little ups and downs, and we just started communicating even more, and they helped us out. We had a couple plays here and there that didn't pop out. Offensive line came back, told me nickel diving, Mike coming across, screaming across, hit behind me, and they were just, coming back, helping me out. So, it was just like, the communication was really what helped the game in the second half.
Did you know that you were closing in on the record, and what did it feel like when you did get it?
I don't really, focus on too much of that stuff in the game. In the game, I just focus on, going out there playing, make sure we can come out with the win. That's pretty much it. All this that stuff really don't mean nothing if you lose.
Did you know that you were close?
No.
What did it feel like then to get that touchdown in the fourth quarter where it just blew through?
It felt great. Schreiner and Cox was telling me on the TCUs that, the wheel backer was diving hard, like he was diving outside hard, so to cut back underneath him. And sure enough, he did exactly what he said, and I just, used my speed to burst right past the safety, the corner.
Any feelings about having the record?
It's a great feeling, but I'm really looking forward, to the next game. I can celebrate after, when the season is over.
Bart, how about his explosiveness? You see him, you hand it off, and it seems like he makes a couple moves and he's gone.
Yeah, I probably have the best view at it in the stadium, and so that's kind of fun. Back there after I, carry out my fake and everything, look and see what he's doing, and it's just nice to know you got that weapon in the backfield with you, and I think it makes us very dangerous.
How much does it help the play action pass?
It's got to help. If you don't.
Can you see the linebackers freezing at all?
A lot of the play action passes, I got my back to the defense to start off, and then kind of my eyes are downfield. But I can't imagine if you see the ball going down into his gut. I can't imagine why you wouldn't be downhill trying to get to him as fast as you can. Because Coach Mitchell said, once he gets to the back half of the defense, it's tough to get him down. So it's just everybody feeds off everybody, and we're out there just trying to be explosive every play.
Coach, Matt Williams had 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just the first few games, statistically speaking, he didn't really have that. Tonight he did. Was that kind of a relief to get him back in the mix of things?
Oh, yeah. I said when Matt came in here, I said maybe people stop asking me questions about Matt Williams being involved in the offense. Matt's really good at double moves. He's got the patience and the feel for the game. The first game we tried a couple and we didn't hook up on those, and I think tonight, you saw a double move for a touchdown. And then he's really good at some of our intermediate routes or digs. He has good timing and feel now. We hit a couple digs, which was important too. So I'm not surprised that he had 118 yards tonight. That doesn't surprise me. I think we were probably a little disappointed the first game that we didn't get a few more touches, and then. The second game, I'm not going to worry too much about that. The score was, 42-0 and a half, and our starters were out. So this isn't us sitting in the offensive game plan room saying we got to get Matt Williams going or anything like that. We know what routes he runs the best and what he's good at, and there's some opportunities to present themselves to get that. And I think the other factor is we played almost 4 quarters with our starters, and that's going to impact guys statistically with our starters when they have to play that.
And you opened up the home 3-game homestand with 3 convincing wins, just large margins of victory at halftime even. How confident are you? How good of a thing is that, just heading into a 2-game road stretch?
The best thing about this being 3-0 is that we're 3-0 and we got a building of guys that know they could be better. That's the best part about this whole thing. And we're sitting here, it's vastly different than 2 years ago. We came off a national semifinal run, and we're sitting here 0-3. Now we're 3-0. We have a lot of things in front of us. And we're going to put ourselves behind the 8 ball, but we know that we can be better and we can continue to improve. And it's going to be an awesome film session for our defense. And I know our defensive coaches and players, they have a lot of pride. They'll get back after. We'll get to work and start game planning for Walsh, but we'll get some of the stuff cleaned up on our end. There's too many penalties here, and some things we got to get solved to be at the level that we expect to be around here.
David, how did you feel about your game personally, and then also seemed like you guys got great pressure on the quarterback early in the game, but then that went away. Did they do something to adjust?
I don't think I had too good of a game. There's some things I messed up in, but that's how it goes in football. You're going to mess up sometimes. But as a team, that was our plan, was to get on Shane Brown quickly, you know, early in the game, and then they started picking us up a little bit, but we started having to worry about more the deep threat passing because it was the second half.
Did they go to a quicker tempo too, or?
Yeah, it was definitely a quicker tempo, especially when they start getting the 97-yard drive when they were getting the first downs. They're definitely going a little bit faster, so we had to play with the same front four guys, and you know, the pressure isn't going to be as good when the guys are tired.
Thank you, guys.
Anything else?
Appreciate
Thank
it.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks. Congrats. Thank you.
You want him? All right. Overall, you got your third win of the year. Just talk a little bit about how offensively you just really seem to be clicking right now.
Yeah, I think, you know, on the offensive side of the ball, there's some factors that come into play. I think, you know, returning starting quarterback is huge. A lot of confidence out of our quarterback position. You know, I think that we're doing some really good stuff in the run game schematically, which is allowing Martavius Carter and Terrell Dorsey to get downhill quick. They're getting to the back of the defense line quicker. We're more physical in our run game than we were in previous years, and some of that has to do with scheme. Some of that's our personnel. We have, you know, I think we have as good at tight ends as we've had at Grand Valley in a while. Going back to the Scott Blasco, Jeremy Cochran type days, these are quality tight ends. It's been a while since we've had this depth of tight end, and then an offensive line that's, you know, progressing. I think through 3 games, I just feel on the sideline that they're continuing to progress, continue to get better, and then, you know, the receiver core, you know, we have a lot of guys back and a lot of guys that can make some plays, and so that distribution of talent, you know, from the field to the boundary and those things, it just makes us hard to defend. You know, you got all these wideouts out there spreading the field and spreading it vertically, and then you have to worry about a guy like Martavius running the ball. We are not a one-dimensional team, and again, we don't strive to try to be balanced with, you know, rushing and passing, but we want to be tough to defend, and it's harder to defend when you have some talent at those positions and you match up some of your schemes with that. I think our offensive staff, Tim Morse, is doing a good job of being aggressive. You know, we had a 2nd and 1, and we ran a double move to Matt Williams tonight for a touchdown. We had a 3rd and 1. We ran a pass to Pete Sender in the flat, and we're not just going to, you know, go into a shell. We're going to keep pushing and pressing because that fits our talent.
Oh, 33 at the half. Second half, you get that first touchdown. Did you feel like there's a letdown defensively? Did you kind of feel like you're up, you know, you're up 37-3?
Well, here's the thing, like, you know, coming out of half, they get the surprise onside on us. Yeah, bad job by us and, you know, me. Our defense goes out and sudden change gets stopped, you know, so I thought, okay, great job defense, you know, and then we go and score. And you're looking at 37-3, and really the conversation at that point is, so, you know, if we can potentially push this lead to 44-3, we can start to look, you know, maybe substitute situation with a few guys. But, you know, we just we didn't respond very well. You know, we had a lull. We had a lull there defensively. Probably the biggest thing I'm disappointed about was we hit a pass and we're driving, you know, and Terrell Dorsey fumbles when we're down in their half of the field, but you can't turn the ball over, and then our defense gives up a touchdown. That was a bad offensive possession or bad defensive possession, you know. So the flip side of that is, you know, you went 51-24, and you can go back and coach off of that. You know, that was the one thing that had concerned me through the first 2 games. Grand Valley's starters had not had a lot of adversity. There hadn't been many tough times. So I'm glad we got a win, and then we can go back and coach these guys up in those situations.